Welcome to the NBA's greatest games. Today, we'll take you back into NBA history and relive one of the great matchups as it happened.
Every great drama has its subplots. Game 5 of the NBA Finals was no exception. The Jazz finally got a marquee performance from their star, Karl Malone. The mailman stole the show with 39 points. Meanwhile, Chicago's leading man, Michael Jordan, was having trouble hitting his marks. Even with Malone's big night, the director of Utah's cast, Jerry Sloan, made a script revision at intermission. He called on a seldom-used veteran from Wichita State, a stand-in, Antoine Carr. Carr had 5 field goal attempts in the second half. He made them all. Without his performance in a supporting role, the NBA Finals would be history. Instead, the Jazz are back in Utah, back on their home stage, after refusing to let the curtain come down in Chicago. Game 6, next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA Finals. Tonight, it's Game 6, the Chicago Bulls versus the Utah Jazz.
A while ago at the Delta Center, the cast of characters began arriving for Game 6. Karl Malone, fresh off the great 39-point performance on Friday night. Michael Jordan held just 9 of 26 from the floor in Game 5. Antoine Carr, unexpected hero, helping to bring it back to Salt Lake, where John Stockton has family support. Dennis Rodman doesn't prefer Utah, at least it's close to Vegas. Brian Russell, good job defensively on Michael in Game 5. Scottie Pippen, whose MVP chances for the final may have been hurt by his 2 of 16 shooting on Friday night. And we welcome you back to Salt Lake City for Game 6. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. As we mentioned earlier, no team has ever come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the NBA Finals. That's what the Jazz are facing. But for the sake of context, 6 teams have recovered after being down 3-1 to win earlier rounds in the NBA playoffs, including 3 teams that eventually won the championship. And should the Jazz win tonight and force a Game 7, then it would be worth noting that very few teams have ever won a 7th game on the road in the finals. That's what Chicago would be facing. If anything, Utah would have a slight edge, it would seem, in that scenario. Now, if Chicago wants to take some encouragement from recent history, they know that Game 6 has been very, very good to them. Of their 5 championships, only one, the first one, a 5-game victory over the Lakers, was not clinched in the 6th game. There was the comeback from 15 points down in the 4th quarter against Portland in '92. John Paxson's shot at Phoenix a year later. The Sonics were finished off in Game 6 2 years ago in Chicago, and then it was Steve Kerr's shot that finally put Utah away last spring. So, if the Bulls want to bring the hammer down, Game 6 is the time to do it as we welcome in Isaiah Thomas and Doug Collins. There is a Game 6, Doug, because Utah was able to make some subtle adjustments in Game 5.
Well, Bob, they went away from their screen roll in the second half, and they went more to a post-up with Karl Malone. They put Antoine Carr in the game to give them another shooter so that when Pippen double-teamed, they could kick the ball out to the open man. They're going to get the good baseline cut. Pippen's going to get a double-team, and you're going to see Carr step right in, out of the double team, and hit the open jump shot. This caused problems for Chicago in the 4th quarter. Now what happens is you worry about the 4 shooters you have on the floor, so you stay at home. This gives Malone room to operate in the post and go one-on-one against Rodman. He does, wheels in and scores easily. Now in the 4th quarter, it was Antoine Carr and Karl Malone. They had 16 of the 24 points. They're going to need more of that today if they're going to force a Game 7. Bob?
Well, you know, Doug, we might ask the question, What took Jerry Sloan so long to go to Antoine Carr? Prior to Game 5, he'd scored only 4 points through the first 4 games.
Well, in talking to Jerry Sloan, one of the things he's worried about is Karl Malone guarding Tony Kukoc on the perimeter. And when he has Antoine Carr in the game, that has to occur. So even though he doesn't like that matchup, we're going to have to see a lot of it today if the Utah Jazz are going to win.
Well, Tony Kukoc was brilliant in Game 5. 11 of 13, 4 3-pointers, 30 points. But Jordan and Pippen had their problems.
Surprisingly, Bob, Jordan and Pippen struggling all night long. You see Jordan here never really could find his rhythm. Every time he shot the ball, it was just a little long. Pippen, known for his moves against Hornacek in the low post, never really went to his patented jump hook. Forced turnaround jump shots all night. But Kukoc was marvelous, hitting 11 of 13 from the field, and you see the big 3 right there over Karl Malone. Now, it took Kukoc 11 field goals. Kukoc made 11 field goals on 42, on 13 shots. Pippen and Jordan took 42 field goals to combine for 11 field goal attempts. I think for the big 3, they're going to have to play well tonight, and all of them going to have to big effort here, Bob.
All right, and we'll get a big effort from Hannah Storm and the Showtime crew coming up following these messages. Game 6 just around the corner from Salt Lake City. And as always, pre-tip, we go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Bob. The big news on the Bulls is the condition of Scottie Pippen. As was reported earlier in our pregame show, he did take an injection yesterday. He told me he hurt that back in Game 3 and Game 4, irritated a little bit more. Before the game today, he said he had everything he could have done to it. He had electrical stimulation, then he iced it, had ultrasound, had a massage, and then did a lot of stretching, and told me that he is a little bit ginger, but nothing could keep him out of a game like this. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. One further Bulls note. I just spoke to Ron Harper. He is suffering the effects of the flu. He's very weak. He can't hold any food down. He will start. He will play. Just how long and how effective he doesn't know. As for Howard Isley, I spoke to him. He's still suffering from vertigo. He's telling me before the game he's a little dizzy. He's a little disoriented. He is going to play. Coach Sloan is just going to keep his eye on him. If he cannot go, John Stockton will take his minutes. Finally, I spoke to Karl Malone. Karl Malone told me he's going to the basket early tonight. He's going to be very aggressive early in the game. He wants to get Longley and Rodman into foul trouble. Not many outside shots at all. He finally went on to say, we're down 3-2. I know this sounds crazy. However, I like our position, and I'm confident we can win this series. Bob?
Jim, thanks a lot. The officials are Dick Pavetta and Hugh Hollins, who worked Game 3, each of them in Chicago, and Danny Crawford, who worked Game 2 of the finals here at the Delta Center. The Bulls are just 4-4 on the road in the playoffs, and in fact have lost 4 of their last 5 road games against their toughest opponents, the Pacers and the Jazz. Jordan guarded by Russell. Hornacek will open on Pippen. They'll try and post Scottie on him. They go to it right away. Stockton comes over on the double team. Now back to Scottie, and they couldn't recover. Hornacek was left alone with him, and an easy 2 for Scottie.
That's going to be the strategy here early. Try to go at Hornacek with Pippen. Michael will do a lot of the ball handling in the first period.
Malone against Longley. Has to give it up, and Jordan is the only guy there. Longley, who has contributed little offensively and has been abused defensively by Malone. It's Jordan missing his first shot, and Russell takes the rebound. It looks like Scottie Pippen is laboring as he moves up and down the court. Ahmad told you he's suffering from a bad back. Malone gets his first. 17 of 27 in Game 5. As the whole Utah team shot better than 50%. Poked away. Malone chases it to the side. It'll belong to Chicago.
Bob, I think Scottie Pippen pulled his back out on that dunk shot on his first play when he reached up for the rim and he pulled it down. I think he stretched up and he grimaced as he came down and he could barely run.
Harper guarded by Stockton. Pippen against Hornacek. Draws the double. Harper's the guy they'd like to leave alone. Kukoc isn't. But this time he misfires. Hornacek lost it to Longley. Now Pippen has it. All alone, Kukoc.
The one thing you don't want to do if you're Utah is get into a quick turnover battle here and give them easy points, especially Kukoc. Remember, he loves to get off early in quarters, and then he's a load the rest of the game.
Hornacek from Stockton ties the game at 4.
That was a great screen by Karl Malone. Hornacek set Michael Jordan up beautifully, and in a great entry pass by Stockton.
Kukoc. You wonder if the Bulls went to Kukoc enough in Game 5. With Jordan and Pippen struggling, Kukoc was on fire, but got only 13 shots.
Yeah, Kukoc has the size advantage and also the speed advantage over Adam Keefe, and he can take them inside. Also, he can stick the outside J.
Malone got inside of Longley and drew the foul.
Now you watch Pippen come across the lane, and as he reaches up to dunk, he pulls his back out, and you see him grimace as he comes up the floor. Let's keep our eye on Scottie Pippen tonight.
Let's check in with Ahmad.
Bob, Scottie Pippen's really having a bad problem. In trying to bring the ball down, you can notice Michael sending him down the floor so he can bring the ball up. Now, as we mentioned earlier, that the strategy was to go to Scottie in the post. If his back continues to bother him, they may have to change that strategy. Bob?
You can see him with his hands on his knees, bending over, trying to limber up, wincing quite a bit. Malone hits the first. Generally, he and the Jazz team have not gone to the free throw line in the finals as often as they did during the regular season and in the earlier playoff rounds. The Bulls have had a big edge at the free throw line.
Jim Gray is listening to Jerry Sloan over on the sideline. He says Jerry is already complaining about illegal defense early in the game. Let's see if the next time down the floor the referees hear him once again. Remember, that was something that was big in the United Center. He was able to get the referee's attention. I thought it helped his team.
Harper trying to back in on Stockton, and the whistle goes against Utah. It's Stockton's first.
See, what Chicago will try to do is put a lot of pressure inside on the post with Harper and Pippen posting up Stockton and Hornacek.
Harper really battling with Stockton. Now he's got it. Tried to bring it back out, and Keith stole it. Hornacek loses it to Harper. And a whistle as Harper comes stampeding into the lane.
Now, Bob, Scottie Pippen came back and got that steal, but he is really struggling right now. You're going to see him come in from behind, and after he knocks this ball away, he really sort of stands, and I watched him the whole way. He looked over at the bench at Phil Jackson, like saying, I don't feel very good right now. He's standing up straight. That's the first sign of a back injury, when a guy stops bending his knees.
A back injury is one of the most crippling of injuries, especially in an athletic context. And I'm not trying to compare a physical injury to an illness, but it was here in this building where Michael Jordan, sick as a dog, managed to gut it out in Game 5 of last year's final, the pivotal game. Scottie Pippen is probably mindful of that and will give it everything he's got to try to equal the effort that his teammate Michael Jordan has shown in the past.
See, Bob, that's why I think it's very, very important for the Jazz to lock in on Tony Kukoc, because if Pippen can't score and it's only Michael Jordan, that will be to their advantage. They've got to do a job on Kukoc today.
Stockton drives on Harper, ties the game. Stockton didn't take a single shot in the fourth quarter of Game 5. His assist totals have generally been high. His shooting percentage is high, but they'd like to see him get a few more shots up toward the rim. 3-second violation against Chicago.
So you watch Stockton's aggressiveness. They've given him the baseline this whole series. This time he's able to take Harper to the baseline, get a little space, and finish on the right side of the basket.
Hornacek Jordan up on him. Malone puts it on the floor and is fouled. It was before the shot. It's Longley's second.
Well, this was the strategy of Karl Malone. He said, I'm going to put the pressure on the Bulls defense, not many jump shots, and he has done that. 2 quick fouls on Longley.
Hornacek is free, but can't hit. Hornacek is now 18 for 46 in the series. Jordan, there's his first field goal, and the Bulls take a 10-8 lead. If you take away Hornacek's 7 of 11 in Game 3, he's shooting around 30% for the rest of the series. 7 of 11 in Game 2, I should say here. Harper reached in and fouled. Rodman off the bench. Let's see who he replaces. Longley has 2 fouls, and it's Luke who'll go out. Russell for 3. Utah has not been hitting the threes in this series. Now 11 for 51, around 20%. They shot 37% as a team from beyond the arc for the season. Pippen with the hook. Chicago by 4. Screening for Stockton. His 3 isn't there. Pippen claims the rebound. Pippen had it knocked away. Hornacek got a hand on it. Stockton takes it. Dishes it to Jet, who misses the driving one-hander. Jordan is wrapped up by Keefe for the Utah foul.
You know, Pippen is really hurting, but he's playing in pain as he takes Adam Keefe into the middle and shoots his patented little jump hook. And as he falls to the floor, you can see it's very difficult for him to get up with that bad back. You see him running up the floor, not able to get the type of push and the speed that he normally would have.
Meanwhile, we played 9 minutes. Karl Malone has attempted only 1 shot, which he made.
But he's put the pressure on the defense. He's gone to the basket, and what he's done, he's got them in the penalty here early by drawing a lot of fouls on Longley and Rodman. That will take its toll as the game goes on, Bob.
The seldom used Bill Wennington is in, along with Scott Burrell and Steve Kerr. Rodman and Jordan complete the 5 on the floor for Phil Jackson right now. Michael dishes out to Burrell. And Russell reaches in and knocks it away with 3 on the shot clock.
When Michael gives that ball up, you've got to really work hard and not let him catch it back, and that's what he did that time. Russell, excellent D.
Got to shoot it quickly. Jordan will with a hand in his face. Burrell skies for the rebound. Loose to the side, and eventually it's Utah who has it. Here's Hornacek. A pull-up 3. It's hard to imagine Utah winning the next 2 games and taking the title unless Hornacek hits shots like that, which outside of Game 2 in this series, he hasn't been doing. Shot clock violation. Michael gave it up. They weren't even close to hosting a shot before 24 seconds.
Terrific team defense. But Isaiah, the play before, Brian Russell went down on the floor, knocked the loose ball away, and Hornacek got the 3. Those are the hustle plays that this crowd creates from this team, and they're going to need all of those today.
And this is the 2nd time in this series where you've seen Michael Jordan lose track of the shot clock, which is very uncharacteristic for him.
Isley, who's quicker than Kerr, is guarded by Steve as he comes out of the backcourt. It's Malone. And it's Utah with the lead. Only moments ago, they trailed by 9.
Carr came in, Isley giving him good minutes. That's been the difference.
Jordan. Rodman on the offensive glass. Wennington a good look. Wennington will hit the open jumper.
Offensive rebounds were such a key here. When the Bulls won game 2, they did not shoot well, but they got 18 offensive rebounds.
Moving down toward a minute to play in the first. Chicago by 1. And a whistle from Dick Pavetta. Another illegal defense.
That's on Michael Jordan. He got 2 zones below his man. Hornacek stayed out behind the three-point line. Michael dropped down 2 areas, and he was spotted. Now, it helps that Jerry Sloan is sitting there in the referee's ear, helping him see Michael Jordan.
Hornacek hits the technical. Watch the byplay here between Malone and Rodman. A sign of respect, actually, it appeared to me.
You're it.
Chris Morris comes off the bench, making his first appearance for Utah. Antoine Carr gets a breather. There have been 3 illegal defense calls in this first quarter against Chicago.
Now, Bob, Antoine Carr is not a guy who plays heavy minutes. So I think what Jerry Sloan's going to try to do is maybe give him 5 or 6 minutes here or there to try to keep him as fresh as possible.
Kukoc comes in as soon as Carr goes out. Kukoc having trouble covering Carr defensively earlier in the game. Isley bounces to Malone. Tough shot, but he cans it. Jordan over Russell. Tied at 22 with half a minute to play in the period. Alone against Wennington. Off balance, hit it, plus the foul.
See, Bob, that's what I'm talking about, being aggressive, Isaiah. Taking the ball to the basket. Isley with the give and go. He doesn't settle for the jump shot. He puts the pressure on the defense, and it's a tough shot. And the same thing, he sees Wennington on him. He says, no way I can get this shot. He bodies up. Now an opportunity for a three-point play, which would give his team a 3-point lead.
And the weak spot for the Chicago Bulls is when you get past Longley and Rodman, they have nothing behind them. Wennington can't hold Malone, and that's where they miss the big guys in terms of Caffey and O'Brien Williams. And Malone is smart to get into their bench now.
A dozen from Malone in the first quarter. A perfect 4 of 4 from the field. Almost as important, Hornacek has contributed 9. They need him. Kukoc. They had a foul to give. It looked like he traveled, but just before that, the whistle blew for the foul.
Now, Chris Morris slapped him from behind, so he took the good foul. Bulls will have to inbound the ball with 8.4 seconds to go, and Greg Foster's going to come into the game. Now, Bob DeRisi's in right now, and you give him a rest here at the end of the quarter, the last 8.4 seconds, and then the time during the break.
Jordan, double team, forces up the quarter's final shot and misses it. A better start for Carl than for Michael. Once down by 9, Utah leads after 1 by 3. And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Ahmad Rashad back at the Delta Center, and early on, Scottie Pippen re-injured his back on that dunk shot that he had just at the beginning of the game. He has been in the locker room for the past 5 or 6 minutes trying to stretch that back out. He has both doctors in there. They're just trying to see what they can do to get him ready to play. And if anything else happens, I will be here to report it to you. Bob?
Ahmad, thanks a lot. Guys, as we begin the second quarter with Utah up by 3, something significant. They were able to make a run and turn this game around a bit with Howard Eisley on the floor rather than John Stockton. And Eisley did not play well for them in Chicago, so much so that Jerry Sloan barely used him with the game in doubt on Friday night.
Well, they went on a 17-5 run with Stockton sitting down, but also a key, they brought Antoine Carr in for Keefe. So they got another offensive player in there, Bob. That was real critical for them.
As Jim Gray reported before the game, Eisley has been suffering from vertigo. Apparently not dizzied by the heights of Game 6 tonight. Shandon Anderson with a nice move.
Every time Anderson comes in, they immediately go into post against either Burrell or Bushler.
Jordan opens the second quarter on the bench, which is usually the way Phil Jackson plays it. Whistle away from the ball from Hugh Hollins.
Again, Isaiah, Shandon Anderson in the post, and he just backs Scott Burrell down. Nobody helps him out. And that's a big weapon for them coming off the bench.
And Doug, the danger is when you don't finish your job at home, Scottie Pippen comes on the road, he gets hurt. I remember when we were in the finals playing against the Los Angeles Lakers, and I got injured in the Game 6, sprained my ankle, turned the whole series around, and that's what may happen here.
Anderson picked up the foul a moment ago, and then it's Foster following him. 2 quick Utah personals here in the first minute of the second quarter. Knocked away from Wennington, ball loose, chased down by Foster. But then he loses it. An unforced error, to use tennis terminology. There were 2 white shirts there.
See, Bob, the difference right now is when you're resting Michael Jordan. With Pippen hurt, he's not out there with the anchor that second team. Now you've got a team out there. Who's going to run the show? Who's going to be the guy to make sure that they run their offense and get the shots that they want? So this really hurts with Scottie Pippen being out of the lineup right now because you have to rest Michael Jordan at some point.
Kukoc is the only starter for either team on the floor right now. Foster on Tony. Wennington travels.
Playing out of character. Bill Wennington is a catch-and-shoot player. He's not a guy, Isaiah, that puts the ball on the floor.
Rodman to the scorer's table. He'll have to wait till the next whistle. Which comes almost right away. Another illegal defense against Chicago, the 4th.
Now, see, the reason that's illegal is Chris Morris is out above the three-point line. Judd Bushler can be no lower than the foul line. When he drops below that foul line, he's automatically illegal.
So Eisley is selected to shoot the tee. After the first illegal defense, every subsequent one against you results in a technical foul shot.
See, Chris Morris is going to be out above the free. Look where Bushler is. He's illegal right now. So that's the call, and that's why they get the free throw.
Utah by 6. Foster on the move. And throws it away. 2 atrocious turnovers by Foster on consecutive possessions.
Trying to do too much. Keep the game simple. You'll get minutes on the floor.
Kukoc. Chris Morris pulls in the rebound. Carr from Eisley. Missed it off the glass. to Kukoc.
Great back cut by Kukoc. He set him up, then back cut, faked him off the screen. Great pass by Rodman. Great look by Kukoc.
See, I say, though, Foster's got to push him over the top. That's what they did in the game 5, and Tony got 7 points to start the game.
Carr trying to back in on Rodman. It's off Anderson's hands, but recovered by Isley. 2 seconds to shoot. And he hits the three! Are they calling the shot clock violation? Let's see. Dick Pavetta says yes. And they wave it off, though it appeared to me as if he had beaten it. See if the ball isn't out of his hand. 1 second. It's on the way, and they missed the call. Timeout with Utah's lead, still only 4.
Ahmad Rashad back at the Delta Center. Now an update on Scottie Pippen. The time that he was doing the stretching, trying to see if he could come back and play, he was in the officials' dressing room trying to get the stretching. He has now moved from that locker room to his own locker room, but the word is that he's still unable to play. Bob?
Ahmad, thanks a lot. What was the most important regular season game of the year? Undoubtedly the one at midseason here at the Delta Center, where Utah trailed the Bulls by 24 points early, 41-17, and rallied to win. Changed the outcome of that one game. And this series would have opened and ended if a 6th and 7th were required in Chicago rather than in Salt Lake City. It was that win that gave Utah home court and gives them a Game 7 if one is necessary here at the Delta Center rather than on the road. And do the Bulls face the remainder of this game and a possible 7th game either without Scottie Pippen or with a weakened Scottie Pippen?
See, with the Bulls depleted right now, the Jazz must keep the pace of this game up. They've got to use their superior depth and just keep trying to wear Michael Jordan down.
Jordan into the lane. Tough shot. He was fouled. He'll come to the line with a chance to tie it.
So they really made the switch in Game 5. They started Russell on him, did a good job, and then they came in with Anderson. They put Hornacek on Pippen, and that really had an effect because Michael had to work a little bit harder in the post against Russell.
This is the 103rd game of the season for the Bulls and for Michael Jordan. Antoine Carr going out. Jordan hasn't missed a single game since he returned from baseball. Ron Harper returns to the Chicago lineup. He has also played more minutes than at any time since the '92 season when he was a much younger man. And now with Pippen ailing, he'll be asked to do even more if that's possible. Slips it through a crowd to Anderson, who misses the floater. Rodman juggles the rebound, but saves it in. Only his 2nd rebound tonight, and only his 5th in the last game and a half, after such a strong performance in Game 4. Michael springs free and takes the lob from Kukoc.
Great roll-off for Russell. Faked up and spent off him. Kukoc put it right there for the easy lay-in for Jordan. I'm noticing, Doug, every time Malone gets it on the low post now, they're coming to double team, trying to keep Rodman out of foul trouble.
Hornacek returns it to Malone. Now has it back in a crowd and misses. Anderson flies in, can't hit the tip. Malone another try, and there it is for Utah.
You see, Rodman didn't even try to contest that shot underneath. Don't want to get in foul trouble, so Malone's going to have his way down there. Just have to be careful and take his time and not draw offensive foul.
Riding the seesaw, now it's Utah's turn to lead. Stockton knocked it away, Chicago ball. Phil's still lobbying for that travel on Malone on the last possession, but Ain't gonna happen. Michael, head fake, he traveled. So Phil got the traveling call, but certainly not on the guy he wanted.
And Steve Kerr just said to Pavetta, hey, call it on Malone down at the other end. I talked to Rodman after the last game, and he felt that Malone traveled a lot. That's why he was able to get away from him.
Malone in the lane. Up and under against Rodman.
He's getting such deep position right now in Rodman. The Utah Jazz are executing their offense to perfection.
18 for the mailman. Jordan for three. And there's his answer.
I think that's his third three of the game, Bob. And going into this game, Kukoc and Pippen were a combined 4 for 23 from three at the Delta Center in the first two games.
It is his third tonight, and he has 19 points. Malone tries to answer, and can, and he has 20. A Jordan-Malone duel shaping up in Game 6. Kukoc on the run. He's in double figures now with 10.
Isaiah, how much is it going to take him to figure out that he's a left-handed player? And you can't let him come with a strong hand. You got to send him back to help.
He's such a good dribbler, and he gives you that hitch move, and it draws you out of position, and he gets you every time with it.
Kukoc on Russell. Gives him some room, and Russell accepts the challenge and drills the jumper. Utah by 2.
You got to make Tony Kukoc play defense, and that's what Brian Russell did on that possession.
It was Russell's first basket. Here's Michael. He's got 21.
I'm watching Jordan, and he's in such a nice rhythm offensively. Everything is coming very easy to him. And right now, they have to be really careful because this looks like this could be a 40-point game from him.
Tied at 43. Shaping up as a higher scoring game than we've generally had in this series. It's Hornacek.
See, Malone is getting the ball on the block where he wants it. They're running splits, they're running post-ups, and the Jazz are in a great rhythm right now.
Timeout, Chicago. Utah by 2 with 1:49 to play in the half.
Ahmad Rashad back at the Delta Center where the Jazz lead the Bulls by 4. Now the big story here in the first half has been the condition of Scottie Pippen's back. He has really been hurting. But during the halftime, the massage therapist gave him ice, massage. His back was having spasms. He got the spasms to stop, and Scottie Pippen is back out here on the floor. Whether or not he'll be able to play and play effectively, we'll find out. He is starting the second half. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thanks, Ahmad. Well, they thought that Scottie Pippen was going to be out of the game, so Jerry Sloan told his guys they were going to focus a lot more attention on Michael Jordan. All of that, of course, could change now. Very unhappy with the way they defended the screens. He wants them to get over the screens instead of running through them. Happy with everything offensively. Bob?
All right, Jim, and here we go. Utah in possession as we start the third quarter. Malone right to work. Hornacek on Pippen. It's Kukoc. The three spins out. Hornacek with rebound position. Utah in front by 6. Stockton pounding the dribble into the floor. Now into the lane he goes. Outside to Russell. Head fake. Now Stockton. Air ball grabbed by Keith. Blocked back in his face by Pippen, and a 24-second violation as they never hit the rim.
Now remember, when Adam Keefe was in the game as a starter, Utah got off to a very slow first quarter start because they were playing 4-on-5. So if that starts to occur, Jerry Sloan might have to go to his bench. Adam Keefe has got to be an offensive rebounder. He's got to be aggressive.
4 of the first 5 games were very close and very exciting. But through the first half, this is actually the best played game, the best pace and rhythm of any of the games of the series. Longley out to Scotty with 5 seconds to shoot. It'll be Kukoc. He has 12.
Now Scotty's back out on the floor, but he's still moving very gingerly.
Malone inside and a whistle before the shot, and a Chicago foul.
Now you watch Scottie Pippen, and let's take a look at how he's running. You see, he's laboring to get up and down the court. That back is still bothering him. Let's see how he goes.
The foul was Longley's 3rd. Stockton stumbles. And on the steal, Chicago recovers the ball and asks for timeout. Coach, is that the time you want to use one? It does preserve the possession, but you use up a timeout.
Well, Phil has the option here to take a 20 if he wants it, so it looks like he wants to save his 20, use the timeout now. Harper with a great hustle play. You're going to see him roll over and get the timeout before Utah can force the jump ball.
So we'll step aside with 10:03 to play in the 3rd.
Well, the series was way too pretty here in the first half. Now they're getting down to the basketball we've seen. Rodman and Malone go down. That's 1. Here they go 2. Finally, the 3rd time the foul is called. And I think it was a good no call that it wasn't a flagrant, because I think both guys were wrestling. And now watch Michael Jordan give Brian Russell a shot, and then Russell gives Michael a little pushback. So all of a sudden, temper's starting to flare here, little Bob, as we get down to the game 6 here in the 4th quarter.
Rodman very ineffective thus far. Just lost the best out of 3 falls to Malone. And after I watched the whole replay, I'd agree with you guys that a flagrant wasn't called for, because Malone had thrown that elbow up around the chin just before Rodman tripped him at the end of the whole wrestling sequence. So probably best just to call the foul on Rodman and leave it at that.
And Bob, that's Dennis Rodman's way of trying to get in Karl Malone's head. However, Karl Malone is smart enough as a basketball player that he's not going to let that throw him out of his rhythm. We saw where Dennis Rodman would get Alonzo Mourning out of his rhythm, or some of the other guys. Malone understands Dennis Rodman, and he's not going to let that stack bother him.
Malone has 23. And can't add to it. Kukoc takes it down. Chicago trails by 3 as we move inside 6 minutes to play in the 3rd. Here's Pippen. The bad back makes Hornacek's assignment on him a whole lot easier. Left alone, he doesn't take the 3. Michael, fade away.
See, if I'm Hornacek, I make Pippen make one of those shots. He's really rushing out to close out on him. He's got to show me he can shoot that ball before I'm too concerned with him. I got to be more worried about Michael Jordan.
Jordan has 27 to Malone's 23. Here's Malone again. He was fouled. The basket would have counted, but it wouldn't stay down. It's on Pippen, his first.
Now you watch Michael Jordan on the repost, takes a quick bounce, the reverse spin, fakes Russell out and shoots a nice fadeaway tape. But I agree with you, Doug. I would make Scottie Pippen make one of those three-point shots before I leave Michael Jordan alone in the low post.
Malone is averaging 23.8 for the series coming into this game. That's exactly what he averaged in the 6-game loss last year to Chicago. But that average will go up a bit after today. Makes them both. pass to Scotty. And finally, the tip drops. Rodman gets credit for the basket, but it looked like Pippen was not able to show us the usual body control that he'd normally have to finish off that play.
Usually he would dunk that ball.
Harper on the foul this time.
See, Isaiah, normally Scotty catches this ball in the back door and jumps up and power dunks this. You could see he could barely get off the floor, but Rodman with a great tip.
And when you have a back injury, Doug, it's hard for you to squat and use your legs to get the lift. So therefore, you're jumping from a standstill and straight up position.
Tonight on Dateline Sunday, a tornado rips through the Midwest. And the program also has survivor stories from Mount Rainier. That's Dateline tonight after the game. It's at 10 o'clock for those of you on the West Coast. Harper grabs the rebound as Stockton makes one of two. Utah by 2. Jordan off target, rebound Malone. Hornacek driving on Jordan, knocked away from him, still Utah ball. 4 on the shot clock. When Malone grabbed that last rebound, it was noticeable that Rodman backed away. He's already got 3 fouls, speaking of Dennis, and with Longley on the bench with 4 fouls and pretty much ineffective throughout the series when he has been in there, Rodman's got to be very careful. Knocked out, 3 on the shot clock. Howard Isley back on the floor now. Stockton getting a breather with 4:15 to play in the third. Pippen got a hand on it. They've got to shoot it in a hurry, and they can't get it off in time. 24-second violation against the Jazz. Is it time, as we get a quick look at Jerry Sloan and the laboring Scottie Pippen, is it about car time again?
Well, I think what Jerry's trying to do is buy as many minutes as possible. He's still got a 2-point lead. And Antoine Carr is a guy that maybe gives him 24, 25 points, and here he comes, or 25 minutes. Here he comes right back into the game. So Jerry realized that he needs somebody out there that can shoot the basketball.
Pippen giving it his best, and that time it was good enough.
As we said, with that back injury, that little jump hook in the middle is an easier shot for Pippen to shoot because he can extend with his long reach and his arm length.
Tied at 57. Hornacek had a good first half and hits this one.
They're really making Michael work on a lot of splits. Hornacek is being very active. They know that Michael is the majority of the offense today, so they've got to keep him in motion.
15 for Hornacek. Now trying to guard Pippen. Scotty splits the defense, can't hit the bank, but Rodman with a second tip.
That's the energy we talked about that the Bulls needed from Dennis Rodman. He gave them nothing in the first half. That's 2 tip-ins for 4 points here in this third period.
A whistle from Danny Crawford, a Chicago foul. It's on Pippen, and it's his second.
You watch Pippen in the low post. They come to double team with Russell, and as he goes up for the shot, that leaves Rodman's clear for a clear tap in on the offensive glass. Now you watch Pippen trying to get up and down the court. He's really laboring and really working hard.
Scotty has come out. Kukoc, Burrell, and Kerr all in. There's Pippen heading back to the locker room again to try to stretch out that ailing back. Russell missed the first, but connects on the second. Utah by 1.
Well, the only thing that's saving Utah in this quarter to keep them in the lead is the free throw line. Those early fouls have hurt Chicago, and Utah's taking advantage of it.
Kukoc knocked away, and there's a Utah foul. It's just their second of the period.
Doug, I've watched Jordan the last 4 plays, and he's picking his spots to get some rest out on the court. He's not playing Hornacek as tough because I think he knows that at the end of the game, he's going to have a lot of energy.
to Michael. Now screening for him. Morris fights through the screen. Michael takes him baseline. Draws the contact and the foul. Michael's going to go to the line. Chicago, which generally has had many more free throws throughout the series than Utah, has hit 4 of 5 free throws in this game. Utah 15 of 21. As you said earlier, Doug, a huge difference.
Well, Chicago's done a good job now in this quarter of disrupting Utah's offense. It's not flowing as easily as it was. They took the fouls. They've got him on the free throw line, but you're not seeing the same open looks. I think with Rodman being out there, he really helped disrupt Malone's timing. Now Longley's back in the game, so we'll see if they're able to attack him either with Carr or Karl Malone.
Kukoc goes out as Longley checks back in. Tied again at 60. Malone left block where he likes it best against Rodman. When the double comes, he dishes it out to Carr. Now it's Hornacek. 3 seconds to shoot. Now they're going to have to force it. Hornacek off the back rim. Carr on the board. But there's a loose ball foul on Antoine Carr. It's his second.
You see how the Utah is using so much of the shot clock now? That's not what they did in the first half, Bob. They got their shots up earlier in the clock. Now the Bulls have them working against that shot clock. They're not getting good looks. And they're going to have to speed up the tempo of their offense now.
Jordan on the move against Morris. Double pumps. Misses the scoop. Malone will clear it. Inside 2 minutes to play in the period. Antoine Carr missed it.
I think the one guy that needs to get involved for Chicago right now is Luke Longley. He hasn't taken a shot the whole game. He's got to put some pressure on Malone in that low post.
Here's Burrell. He's off target. Back comes Utah looking for the lead. It's Chris Morris. Hornacek in the right place at the right time.
You see, early offense, they got the shot up, and they didn't let Chicago get back and get set up. And so even though they missed it, they got a chance for a second shot opportunity.
17 for Hornacek. Easily his best game since game 2. Michael confronted by Carr after he blew by Morris. And Jordan will come to the line.
The fast break here by Chris Morris. He doesn't get the shot to go, but you see Chicago now not guarding a man really, but an area. And there's Hornacek with the offensive rebound, Isaiah. They got to pick up the tempo a little bit. Right now, it's become 2 half court, and Chicago's got them in a situation using too much clock.
Michael misses the first as we check in with Jim Gray.
All right, John Stockton is now back on the bench. He was in the locker room for about the past 7 minutes. He was getting a chiropractic adjustment several places. He felt a little twinge, went back there, saw the chiropractor. They've worked it all out, and he will return to the game. Bob?
He's been struggling with something of a sore back throughout this series. 1 of 2. Utah by 1 and with the ball. Isley hands it to Carr. Isley much more effective here on his home floor than he was in Chicago. Gets the assist there. Longley's shot. Isley the rebound.
Last shot of the quarter here. Be big for Utah if they get a score. It will push it to 5 or 6.
They're on their feet at the Delta Center. Kerr on Isley. Around Keith's screen. Now he gets it back. And hits just before the buzzer. minutes from pushing this to a Game 7. Utah leads by 5. Getting a rare contribution, at least in this series, from Adam Keefe. We're back after these words from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
After a miserable Game 5 with no points and 5 turnovers, today has been big. He's helped rest Stockton. You see the kick down to Antoine Carr and the dunk. And in the last possession of the quarter, makes a pass that Adam Keefe makes a terrific catch on behind him and finishes. Today, Isley has 1 point and 3 assists, no turnovers. He's given him good numbers off the bench, and Karl Malone likes the fact that he's watching and his team is increasing the lead.
As we start the fourth quarter, Michael Jordan has scored 29 points. He's 10 of 24. At one time, he was 9 of 15. That means he's just 1 of his last 9. He's played 34 of the 36 minutes so far after playing 45 of 48 on Friday night. Remember, in the fourth quarter Friday, he was just 1 of 7 from the floor. You have to believe fatigue is an important factor now.
I think with Michael Jordan, he's smart enough to rest on defense and try to conserve his energy for offense.
Here he is on offense. And he'll be coming to the foul line just as the fourth quarter starts. But even those poundings take something out of him, right, as he goes to the basket.
Now, those are the things that take the most energy out of you. And the reason why, because if you can imagine yourself, if you had to wrestle with an individual for 2 minutes, that's very tiresome. However, when you're running up and down the court, that's an aerobic exercise. That doesn't take a lot out of you. So him going to the basket, taking that pounding, that takes a lot more out of you.
And also, right now is normally the time that Michael Jordan rests. He tries to rest the first couple minutes of the fourth quarter without Pippen. He's not going to get that rest. So we'll see what that does as the game wears on.
But Jordan is the one individual that I've seen in this game since I've played that can carry his team in the fourth quarter, even when he's fatigued.
He's already played more games and more minutes than at any time in his career. Isley, big hoop for Utah.
Tell me confidence isn't an unbelievable thing. This is the same kid we watched in Game 5 who didn't even want to dribble the basketball. Today, he's making some big plays for his team.
Jordan against Anderson. He's still Michael Jordan. Whatever he has lost through fatigue, through age, through whatever, has only brought him somewhat back to the field. He still leads the field. Morris out of the corner. Rodman with board position on Antoine Carr. Chris Morris has had a lot of open looks at threes like that in this series. Usually he's pretty good with them. In this series, he hasn't been able to hit them. Rodman drills a 20-footer and gives it that go-figure gesture.
Now remember, in Game 2 in here, he hit that same shot to tie the game. This one brings him to within 1.
Isley returns it to Keefe on the screen roll, and he blows the dunk. He argues that he was fouled, but he should have finished it anyway. Now Keefe heads for the bench, and Malone comes back. Chicago can take the lead.
See, now Malone has to guard Kukoc now on the perimeter. Watch that matchup.
Jordan between the legs and the jumper. Off target, rebound Morris. Malone hands it back to Morris, who converts on the reverse. Timeout, Chicago.
Now you watch Jordan using all his energy on offense. He goes drive hard to the left and shoots a fadeaway J. And then Rodman, go figure, right? lined up straight in, shoots it right in, and even he's surprised. And you watch Chris Morris moving without the basketball. Malone with the beautiful feed. Morris with the reverse layup off the glass. Beautiful basketball by Utah.
Ahmad Rashad back at the Delta Center. Now the strategy on Scottie Pippen, they had him in the back. They were putting ice on his back and electrical stimulation for pain relief, and they were trying to bide their time up until the 10-minute mark to bring him back out and see if he could play the last 10 minutes of the game. As you can see, he's back. He's on the floor. We just have to see how it goes. Bob?
Ahmad thanks Michael Jordan's first rest of the second half, and you'd have to guess it will be brief.
Utah right now has got to force Phil Jackson's hand. They got to stop him, and they've got to get some scores to make him come back and not get his normal rest.
Kukoc spins to the hoop and misses the bank. Bushler chases it down.
They got a new shot clock. I didn't see that ball hit the rim.
Kukoc out of the corner. That one's short. And Malone grabs the rebound. And he asked for a 20-second timeout because he was in danger of toppling out of bounds.
I think what you're going to see right now with Chicago is Tony Kukoc is going to try to put the pressure defensively on Karl Malone. Isaiah, he's a first-team defensive player, but he's used to playing around the basket. Kukoc can beat him with his speed, and let's see if he tries to break him down out on the perimeter.
And the dangerous player and the X factor for Chicago on the floor right now is Jud Buchler. Keep your eye on him because he'll come up with the hustle plays and the energy plays to keep Chicago involved.
Stockton now is back into the game after that 20-second timeout, so he too has had back problems. He's back in now for the finish.
Until he has exploded in the last couple of games, all the talk about Karl Malone concerned his scoring, but he has always been a terrific all-round player. Tonight, more evidence. 25 points, yes, but 10 rebounds and 6 assists. And we still have 9:16 remaining. Stockton on the dribble against Kerr, trying to find Malone, but they get a hand on it, and Rodman grabs it. Kukoc, a three would tie it. 4 seconds to shoot. Stockton knocked it away from Kerr. Malone tumbles. Should be a 24-second violation since no one had established clear possession of that loose ball, and that is what's called.
How about Karl Malone going for this loose ball? Now, John Stockton normally will come up with this ball. You can see he can't bend over with that back, but Karl Malone with a great hustle play that gives his team that opportunity now for the loose ball on the 24-second shot clock violation.
Michael is at the scorer's table. He's coming back. The next time play stops.
Remember now they like to go to Anderson in the post on Bushler.
Carr from 20 feet. It spins out and Rodman is there. Brian Russell comes off Jerry Sloan's bench. As soon as he saw that Jordan was about to come back in, he calls on Russell, who probably will guard it. Kukoc to tie it.
There was a great screen by Steve Kerr to open up Tony Kukoc, sacrificed his body, took on the bigger Malone, so Kukoc can nail the three.
15 for Tony.
Utah's got to get some movement.
Morris to a cutting Anderson, who was bumped. The basket may count. It does.
Bob, you can see now, Karl Malone has a tough time on the perimeter. He doesn't like to play out here, so he gets bumped and he just tries to run through the screen. Kukoc gets the bare three and knocks it down. And in the good movement here, you got to get a slash and a cut to get to the basket. Too much standing around for Utah. An opportunity now for the three-point play, which they get.
The foul on Kerr was his third. Jordan back in. Takes the pass from Pippen. Russell is on him. He gets by him. Now Carr comes over and commits the foul.
You see, they're so conscious of Michael Jordan coming off the screen. Gave Russell the fake. Then he came baseline, and watch as he braces himself to absorb the contact. Knows that he's going to get fouled. He's going to go to the line. Watch Jordan at the end of this game, the last 7 minutes, Doug, attacking the basket, trying to get to the foul line.
See, Michael is too good at finishing, though. You can't give him that baseline drive because he's going to get fouled. Isaiah, you got to push him back to the middle where you can help.
Jordan is now 7 of 10 at the line. Kerr out, Harper in. We're told that the brief stoppage was because of a sign one of the fans was holding, and it had some offensive language on it. So they had it removed. Dennis Rodman, we're told, was the only player to protest its removal. Hornacek guarded by Jordan. Malone over Dennis. Rebound Pippen. Hornacek slapping at it. Scotty just hobbling around. The foul is on Antoine Carr, and that's his fourth.
Utah has gotten very stagnant here right now, Isaiah. They've really bogged down and really started in the third quarter. The free throw line kept them in it, but right now they're really struggling scoring.
And this was Chicago's defense has been dominant against Utah in the fourth quarter.
Jordan with the jumper. And with 37 points, as Utah falls behind now for the first time since midway through the second quarter.
See, he's headed for 40. I would start double teaming Jordan every time he touched it.
Brian Russell went down, and there's a foul on Kukoc.
Doug, you talk about wanting to bring Jordan to the middle, but his game is so complete. And when you bring him to the middle, he's able to come right to that right hand, square up, and shoot it right from the free throw line.
It's Chicago by 1, and you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Welcome back to the Delta Center. I'm Jim Gray. Jerry Sloan during this timeout told his team we can't keep playing this stagnant offense and walking the ball up the court. We need some cutters. He wants to push the ball, try and get some fast break opportunities off the rebounds. Wants them to set some picks and run off the picks, create some movement in the offense. Bob?
Jim, thanks. A look at the numbers for Jordan and Malone.
Jerry Sloan wants fast break points. They have to turn to John Stockton right now to push the tempo. And thus far, he's only attempted 4 field goals at 5 points, 4 assists, and 3 turnovers. Stockton has to come through big for him down the stretch.
What's happened also, too, when Malone's getting the rebound, he's holding it, and rather than outletting where they can run.
Here is Stockton with Harper on him. Antoine Carr. Malone, 3 defenders on him, and they take it away. It's Pippen wincing as he comes up with the loose ball. Jordan over Hornacek. Short. A whistle underneath from Danny Crawford. Stay right here. Loose ball foul on Utah.
See, Malone's catching the ball in the post. He's getting double and triple team right now. He's got to be a passer out of this post. You see Pippen there knock the ball away from him. But if there are 3 guys on him and you space the floor, somebody's got to be open.
And Doug, what Chicago is saying right now, we're not going to let Karl Malone beat us. Someone else is going to have to step up and beat us tonight.
Pippen, who can barely move, throws it in. In almost any other situation, he couldn't possibly be playing. Regular season, never. Even earlier in the playoffs, he'd probably be sitting. Jordan again. And Stockton pulls it down.
That's where they got to push it. Get something quickly.
Underneath to Carl. And and he was fouled.
It was a nice feed by John Stockton, pushing it up the court, catching Malone early in the offense, right underneath the basket. Malone did a great job of sealing and drawing the foul.
4 on Rodman.
Michael's upset with himself right now. He's missed 2 jump shots that would have given his team a 3-point lead. He's really upset about that because both of them were very makeable shots that Michael normally makes.
And Russell has done a good job guarding Michael Jordan, forcing him to shoot jump shots and not really allowing him to get to the basket.
Malone busting loose with the huge game on Friday night. He had 20 in the first half. He's at 26 now after the free throw. Jordan leads all scorers with 37. He's 13 of 30 from the floor. Utah back in front by 1.
Steve Kerr now in for Chicago. Remember, he spaces the floor and gives them another shooter if they do start running at Michael and scrambling their defense.
Michael again. Russell takes it down. Stockton has a little daylight, and Utah has a 3-point lead.
Transition basketball again. The little screen by Malone, and he hits the open jump shot.
Kukoc. Kerr. Pippen in the lane. Connects on the turnaround, playing through clenched teeth. Malone. Rodman wins the rebound battle.
That's a bad foul on Malone now because that's the 15th foul. Now Rodman will shoot 2 free throws, but Stockton pushing the ball up the floor. You see the screen right there by Antoine Carr, and Scottie Pippen cannot help out. And then Scottie Pippen with a quick post up in the lane, and the gutty effort by Scottie Pippen here. You can see as he catches the ball, it's so difficult, but he's got those long arms and can still score over Hornacek.
The foul on Malone a moment ago was only his 2nd. Rodman to the line. Remember, he made 4 clutch free throws in game 4. This one is long. Over the year, he's a 55% free throw shooter.
See, Isaiah, he shot that ball. As he shot it, he sort of walked away from it. He's got to stay with that shot.
Yeah, he didn't even take a look at the basket. He has to get set, take a look at it, and knock it down.
4:46 left. If he hits this, he can tie it. Stockton glancing at the clock as he comes across. 4.5 minutes for Utah to end its season or prolong it. Stockton, 5 seconds to shoot. It's Hornacek. Malone. They'll bring it back out. The jumper by Carl. Utah back in front.
Great patience. Offensive rebound, kick it out, and Hornacek got it right back to him.
Malone has 29. Seconds to shoot. Harper's not the guy they want to have do it, but he has to, and he beats the shot clock and cans a huge shot.
Doug, I think Utah is letting Scottie Pippen rest. I would go at him right now. He's trying to guard Antoine Carr, and Antoine Carr has a big advantage over him inside.
Russell. Driving against Rodman. Contact and a foul. Kukoc was also there, and they call it on Kukoc's 3rd.
Now you watch Harper as he takes this shot. Does he get it off in time? I don't know. that's a tough call.
Well, you know what? If they miss that call, it's a 5-point swing in missed calls on shot clock situations. They took a Howard Isley 3 away wrongly in the first half. This one was even closer, but it appeared that Harper may have been just a fraction of a second behind the shot clock. Harper's basket counted. This one by Isley, which should have counted, did not.
See, I think this 3 was good, and the last shot that Harper took, I think that was a shot clock violation.
Russell steps to the line and knocks them both down. Stockton on Harper. Out to MJ for 3. It's short. Hornacek pegging it ahead to Russell, but Michael, with whatever gas is left in his tank, gets back to pick it off. Rodman, offensive foul on Dennis. And that's 5.
Now, Isaiah, that's what you're talking about. Jumping out off that screen and make Michael Jordan be a passer. Throw it to Rodman, who can't finish.
And you saw Jordan right there complaining, saying Rodman needs to have a chance to come down. I thought it was a questionable call. When you look at this play, you watch Jordan come off the screen and he's double teamed, and as an offensive player, you're allowed to establish position and come down. It's a tough call right there.
Oh no, says Michael. The Jazz by a basket.
Well, remember last year in Game 4, Stockton to Malone that won the game. The long pass over the fingertips of Michael Jordan. Stockton with a great pass. Michael just misses it, and Malone gets the layup really to seal the win. Well, moments ago, were we going to see the same thing here? A chance to go up 4. Hornacek throws the pass, and Michael Jordan, with every ounce of energy that he has, goes up and gets the skill. He misses the shot, the 3 that would have put him up 1. Had this gone through, it would have been a 4-point lead for the Jazz. Michael gets back and makes the great steal.
Jordan has 37 points on 13 of 32. 2 of 7 in the 4th. He is 3 of 14 in his last 2 fourth quarters. Even Superman apparently gets tired. Malone, lots of room. Got it.
Malone goes over like he's going to the post and screens for Stockton, and he rolls out and hits the huge jump shot.
Jordan spinning, double team, has to get rid of it. Gets it right back from Pippen. Double pump, knocked away by Carr, and a foul.
Isaiah, normally on this play, Malone goes to the post. This time he goes and screens so Stockton can get to the middle of the floor. A mix-up, they trap, no one rotates, and Malone buries the shot. Now, on this defensive possession, Hornacek, I thought, should have run at Michael Jordan and made him pass the ball back to Scottie Pippen.
You got to take the ball out of Jordan's hands right now and make Harper or Pippen beat you from the perimeter.
Jordan's 9 of 12 now at the stripe.
Now you look at the job that Russell is doing against Jordan. He's keeping him out on the perimeter, not allowing him to come into the post.
He hits them both, making it a 2-point game with exactly 2 minutes to play. Stockton. Russell with a huge rebound. Tried to throw it off Rodman's leg as he was walking a tightrope and couldn't do it. Chicago back looking to tie. Michael, short, rebound Stockton. The jumpers come up short when fatigue is a factor. It's true of anyone, even the best of them. Rodman got in front and knocked it loose, but Chicago touched it last. Phil Jackson hot over that call. A minute 14 remaining.
Watch Hornacek on this play, wrapping off a triple screen.
Stockton for three! That would have been a dagger in Chicago's heart. Instead, they could tie it or take the lead with a three of their own. Jordan. And a blocking foul. Stockton is down on the floor. Jordan's going to come to the line at Stockton's fourth.
You watch Jordan fake like he's coming to the middle again. Russell gives him the baseline. Stockton comes over a little too late. Call the blocking foul on Stockton. Jordan again at the free throw line.
20-second time, 20-second timeout.
Chicago takes a 20-second timeout.
Now you watch Jordan in the fourth quarter trying to get to the basket against Anderson. Pulls up and takes the jump shot. Again, they're keeping him out on the perimeter, not allowing him to get into the post. Coming to the foul line for his patented free throw line, Jay. But again, Russell keeping him out of the post. Pulls up, shoots it a little short. This is a big 20-second timeout for Chicago because it allows Jordan to get some rest before he goes to the free throw line to try to knock down two.
At the line, he's 10 of 13. From the floor, he's 13 of 33.
Well, in this fourth quarter, Michael is only 2 of 8 from the fourth quarter, but what he's done is he's been able to get to the free throw line. He's 6 of 6, so he's shooting his 7th and 8th free throws of the quarter. They've got to find a way to be able to guard him without fouling him here.
He cuts it to 1. Phil Jackson has told the Bulls during the last couple of timeouts, let's try to take it to the rack, go to the basket, not look for the perimeter shot. Jordan ties it. Maybe the 20-second timeout was, as much as anything, just to give him a breather to gather himself for the crucial free throws. 50 seconds. Malone. Cross-court Stockton, a three. It's there!
Now Ron Harper is guarding Stockton, who cuts through. Pippen is going to double team. So what happens now? Stockton's going to circle through, and Antoine Carr dives down, so Harper has to play him. Now on the skip-out pass, Stockton hits the three. What a huge shot to put his team up three. Look how close his foot was to the line here. A three by inches. Now this is what Karl Malone had to do. He had to find the open man, and Harper runs at him. And normally it's Stockton and Malone. This time it was Malone to Stockton.
10 points for Stockton. At age 36, he's played more NBA playoff games than anyone in history without winning a title.
Now the Bulls would like to get 2-for-1 possession here. Try to get a quick score, get to the free throw line to give them 2 opportunities to 1.
Pippen into Jordan. Michael working on Russell. Brings them to within 1.
They scored within 4 seconds there. That's how quickly that changes now. Now it puts the pressure on the Jazz to score once again.
Jordan with 43. Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Timeout, Utah. 5.2 seconds left. Michael Jordan running on fumes with 45 points.
At the end of the game, you got to get it out of his hands. He's beat you so many times. You watch Jordan play, Doug, and you know that at the end of the game, he's a killer.
This was really the play that hurt Isaiah because they scored so quickly. Michael got in there and scored within 4 seconds. And what happened was Michael doubled back. You're going to see he's in the play. Look where Hornacek is setting the screen. Michael never clears, so Malone doesn't see him. He comes from the blind side and strips him. So 3 crucial plays here by Michael Jordan now as he gets Brian Russell with a quick crossover. Look at Brian Russell slips, and Michael pulls up and buries the shot to give him a 1-point lead.
That may have been, who knows what will unfold in the next several months, but that may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.
Watch Jordan's left hand here as he gives Russell the push. The referee can't see that. Jordan frees himself up for a clean look. The greatest thing about Jordan is he has all the tricks. That's why it's so difficult to guard him.
If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it?
I don't think you can put it into words, Bob. I mean, what he's done here in this 4th period, you see the 16 points. He got about a minute's rest and had to come back in. And Scottie Pippen has played a gutty game today, but still plenty of time here for Utah to try to score.
But that's what Jordan is so smart at with his brains. He rested on defense so he would have enough energy down the stretch to perform.
All right, 5.2 seconds. Utah down 1. Coach?
Well, you've got to do one of 2 things. You've either got to get the ball to a guy where he can attack the basket. Utah loves to run a play up at the top where they wrap a guy to the corner and then pin down and catch at the top. You know, if Malone gets it, they're probably going to run at him. Stockton and Hornacek have made key shots their entire career.
Stockton, Hornacek, Antoine Carr, Karl Malone, and Brian Russell. If they score, there's a Game 7. If they don't, for the 2nd straight year, they go out in 6. Stockton, Harper's on him. Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their 2nd three-peat. When you lose by this narrow a margin, speaking of the Utah Jazz, there are so many things to look back on. But the Howard Isley 3 that was taken away in the first half will eat at them all summer long. Jackson and Jordan, perhaps for the last time. Chicago 87, Utah 86. Jerry Sloan showing class, trying to shake hands with each and every member of the Chicago Bulls, who won 2 out of 3 here and 2 out of 3 in Chicago.
Thanks, boy. David, thanks, boy. Thanks,
Statistically, especially in terms of shooting percentage, Michael Jordan has had better games. But when you consider at age 35, the games he's played this year, the grinding minutes he's played, and Scottie Pippen being all but incapacitated tonight, and the fact that they're on the road, and the fact that the odds would shift to Utah's favor for a Game 7, yes, MJ rose again. He no longer needs accomplishments to prove his case as the greatest player in NBA history. He just adds to it. And if this is the final chapter, what a way to close the book.
I tell you, Bob, as you look at Scottie Pippen there, I remember all Scottie ever heard about was the migraine headache and that he couldn't play with pain. Well, today, they could not have won this game without him. Just his presence being out there. He made some big shots. He fed the post. He did all the little things for Chicago, and his numbers aren't going to show it. But Michael, once again, with the heroics, the unbelievable plays. But his sidekick, Scottie Pippen, was there for him when he needed him.
And I'm watching Michael Jordan hug his mother right there. Such a great player, such a great person. Everything that this game is about, the goodness of it, he represents, and what he's done for the game of basketball and for this Chicago Bulls organization. All of us as former athletes are very thankful to 23 in red.
Michael Jordan is as great a competitor as sports has ever seen. He also has an uncanny sense of theater. And as he makes his decision, he'll think about the fact that he could not ask for a better punctuation than this. He accepts a victory cigar from Jerry Reinsdorf to not only hit the winning basket, but have it be the last shot he takes this season, maybe the last he'll ever take in a Chicago Bulls uniform, to win the game and the championship by a point.
You know, Bob, it's interesting about Michael Jordan. He's a guy who has nothing to prove, but lives his life every day as if he has everything to prove. That's something about his greatness. He's an unbelievable athlete.
Let's talk to Phil Jackson. Once again,
I'm on.
Yes, once again, another journey to the top of the mountain. How is this one different from the other 5?
Well, Ahmad, we had to fight our way through this one. This is a real struggle for us this year against overwhelming odds. Maybe not as talented as the last 2 years, but they had a great heart. Hearts of a champion, as Michael has said, and they won it.
All right, you will celebrate tonight. Are you going to come back?
Gee, that's a great question, Ahmad. I'll dodge that one right now. Thanks.
All right, Phil. All right, once again, it is now time for the 1998 NBA Finals Most Valuable Player Award. And once again, here's the Commissioner, David Stern.
Big surprise. 6 championships, 6 MVPs. Michael Jordan, get over here. You grace us with your presence. You've contributed mightily to our league. And tonight you gave one of the singular performances in the history of the NBA Finals. Thank you and congratulations, 1998 NBA Finals MVP, Michael Jordan.
Michael, you have won this award before, but somehow I have the feeling that this one is more special than all of them.
Well, let me say hello to my wife and my kids at home, because they desperately wanted to come. I didn't want them to come here today because I wanted to focus on the game, but I wish they were here to help me celebrate. I know they're there cheering, and I can't wait to get home. But to the Utah fans, you guys are a tough bunch to play in front of. You guys came out with a lot of loyalty and respect for your team. You made it really tough for us. We really, after losing Game 5 in Chicago, a couple of us dread coming back to Utah because we had to deal with the fans because of the energy that they bring to the game. But we had no choice, so we had to come in and play our best, and you guys made it a very competitive finals, and you know, it's very worthy to win this, and I think of all the championships that we've won, this is the toughest.
It doesn't get any easier, but at the beginning of the season, this was the goal that you set out for. How wonderful was it to make this into a reality?
Well, I tell you, when you start the season, I'm pretty sure every team next year is going to start with the focus of finishing and winning their last game. We started with that focus. It was a long road, a lot of different tasks and little bumps in the road, but somehow we made it, and I think everybody who looks at this year is going to have a lot of gratification and understanding and a lot of dedication.
There were a lot of times during the course of the season that people doubted the Chicago Bulls, doubted that you'd be able to come back and pull this off. Even during this finals series here, people doubted you. How did you guys stay so confident?
Well, I mean, this team is one. Our leadership is strong. Our leadership is very positive, very determined, and it filters down to the rest of the players. And we never let anybody give up. You know, we believed in it, and we kept coming for it.
All right, I've asked everybody if they're all going to come around to try to do this again. One more time?
I would love for that to happen. I think that's something that's got to have to be determined over the summer.
All right. Congratulations, Michael. Congratulations, Chicago Bulls. Let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Tonight, one of the truly gutty performances in the finals by Scottie Pippen. Scottie, how badly were you hurt during this game?
I was hurting pretty bad, you know, to start the game off. I was able to get a dunk when I came down. The pain just sort of built from that point, and every time I tried to run, I was getting spasms. But I knew I wanted to come back and try to give a better performance in the second half, so I just tried to take advantage of that little bit of time before the half and, you know, see what I can do. And I came out the second half, and Chip wanted to give me a little treatment, and I took the treatment, and I told him from there I was going to just try to gut it out. You know, I felt like that my presence out on the floor would mean more than just sitting in the locker room.
Initially, you didn't think you could come back, and then the miracle happened there at halftime. How much did you revert back to some of the things that had happened to you in the past, and you knew that if you gutted it out this time that it could change all of that?
Well, I knew I was going to come back the second half. I have to correct you on that. I knew, but I just didn't know how much I was going to be able to give. I knew I wanted to just hope that the team could stay in the game, keep it close, and if I could come back out, let my presence be known out on the court.
Now, Scottie, you were in tears after the game. Was this your most difficult championship, and why the tears this time? Is it maybe because you feel it's ending?
Well, I think they all have brought tears to my eyes, but this was so difficult because, you know, I felt like to some degree without me being out on the court that I was kind of letting the team down, and they understood, but, you know, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be a present. I wanted to play a major role in the game, but the other guys came off the bench, held us in there the first half, especially Michael. He had a heck of a game, and, you know, everything else is history.
Now, you hold the key here to these teams returning. Michael said if you come back, he'll come back, and Phil and so forth. What are your thoughts? Will you come back? Would you take a one-year deal? What will go through your thought process in making this determination?
Well, Jim, right now, I just have to, you know, let everything soak in. You know, there's a lot of opportunities out there for me, and, you know, I have to look more down the road in my future, but, you know, I don't know. You know, after all this soaks in and get back and get my back on track, you know, you never know.
Are you feeling a little sad right now that this could be coming to a close?
No, not really. You know, we're going to enjoy this, and, you know, as long as we can. You know, as a player right now, I don't feel like it's over. You know, we got a lot of celebration to do, and I'm not really looking forward to next season right now.
Final thought, the Utah Jazz and Karl Malone, a spectacular effort. What would your thoughts be toward them?
It was great. You know, Karl and John, you know, they're some gutty performers. What is Hornacek, Russell, who's grown and matured and, you know, had a fabulous series. You know, we take our hats off to this team. The fans here have really came out and made us work hard. You know, it was a great series. You know, it was a even better series than last series, even though, you know, both series ended at 6 games. This topped it all.
Scottie, congratulations. A truly gutsy performance.
Thank you.
I'm here with Karl Malone. Karl, can you begin to explain the disappointment you must be feeling right here at the end?
Well, without a doubt, I'm disappointed. We fought hard. Guys did the best, did a good job. But, you know, it's tough. It's a tough loss for us. You know, got to be a professional, give them credit for it. They won the ball game.
Tell us about the last play and Michael Jordan. He came over and stripped you of the ball.
Well, I don't know. You maybe got the ball. That's fine. That's part of it.
Karl, you've been a truly great player, and you come so close now to the championship. Will you return? Will you keep trying to get to the top of this mountain?
Well, I'm not a quitter. I just got to get away for a while and think about things. But, you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough loss. Give them credit. They won. You know, what else can you say?
Do you feel as though this was Michael Jordan's last game?
I don't know. I don't know if it was Michael's last game or not.
Scottie Pippen in tears over here. You're not sure about Michael Jordan. What did Scottie just say to you?
Oh, no, he just told me good game.